Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my weekly reading update. So I am here to share with you the books that I finished over the course of this last week. So during this last week I have been doing daily reading vlogs. Based on the comments, you guys have really been enjoying them, and more importantly, I have really been enjoying doing them as well. So they are going to continue for the foreseeable future. But I wanted to do the Sunday kind of wrap up update here, because in the vlogs where I finished a book, I was like, hey, stay tuned on Sunday for my full review. And I just thought that this would be easier to put all the reviews together in one video, because instead of them being piecemeal throughout vlogs. So if you guys are looking for if you guys are just here for the reviews, essentially, you can know where to find them. You just come watch the Sunday video and everything's great. Because I know maybe the daily vlogs are not for everybody, and that's fine. I get it. It can be a lot to keep up with. It can be, you guys are busy. I get it. I absolutely get it, and don't fault anybody if you don't have time to watch them. I fully understand. But I really enjoy doing them. So at the end of the day, that's really what's important, right? As the creator, I want to put out content that makes me excited and me happy. And that's what's doing it right now, are these daily vlogs. So anyway, so all the reviews, though, are going to be contained in this Sunday video. So very exciting. Like I said, I did finish 3 books this week, so I'm going to share my final thoughts on those 3 books with you. And then I'm going to share with you what I'm currently reading. For those of you who, again, might not be interested in the daily vlogs, you can just kind of have a quick little snapshot of where my reading is currently at. And then I'm going to share with you the videos that are coming up on the channel this coming week. So not a long video, I don't think, you guys, depending on how long I go on about books, talk about the books that I'm currently reading, or the books that I finished. So let's jump in and get started, everybody. So the first book that I finished this week was Secrets by Francine Pascal. I gave this book 3.5 stars. This is the second book in the Sweet Valley High series. Pretty much like Jessica's being Jessica in this one. I don't have a lot to say in regards to this one. That essentially the plot of it is that Jessica is trying to go after Bruce Patman, who is the most sought-after boy in school because he drives a black Porsche and he's rich. So that's what makes things important. He can be an arrogant you-know-what, but he's rich and drives a Porsche, so we just look over the other things. So she is up for... what is it? It's not prom. It's, there's some dance and homecoming. She's up for homecoming queen. Plus Elizabeth's best friend Enid is up for homecoming queen. And Jessica feels like Enid is like, a plain Jane, and why should she be up for it? Well, Enid's boyfriend is on the committee, so they figure she's a shoo-in to win homecoming queen. So Jessica finds out this horrible secret about Enid and tells the whole school about it, essentially, like, lets it slip that it didn't come from her. Somehow this rumor got started, and the story kind of goes from there. I mean, typical Jessica being Jessica, Elizabeth being Elizabeth. These are pretty straightforward. I really do enjoy reading them. I mean, it sounds like I'm mocking it, but 3.5 stars. I mean, these are fun. They're trashy. These were perfect to read in August, to be completely honest. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. If you read Sweet Valley when you were younger, doing a reread of them as an adult, it is a bit of a different experience, but they're still fun and enjoyable. At least to me they are. The next book that I finished was, oh my gosh, you guys, one of my favorite books. I think, yes, all 3 of these books I finished in August. So I have not finished any books yet in the month of September, but this was Falling in Love by Erin Branscom. This is the first book in the Freedom Valley series. I picked this one up on a whim because I was feeling like I wanted a book for fall. And guys, this book was a sweater, was crunchy leaves, was pumpkin spice latte, was all of the things wrapped up into one book. This book was so, so good. So it is about our main character, whose name is escaping me right now. Is it Becky? Becky and Evan, I think, or Ethan, Evan. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I will put their names right here. I've been reading some other books since, so the names escape me. I should have really written it down. This book is available on Kindle Unlimited, and I did listen to about 40% of it on audio. I read the first 60%, and then I picked up the last 40% on audio. And it was narrated, excuse me, by Kit Swan and Ryan Hudson. Excuse me, I'm going to start coughing. Hold, please. sorry about that. If I didn't say, I gave this book 5 stars. I loved this book so much. So the very, very beginning of the book, our female lead is stuck on the side of the road. Her car breaks down. And Evan comes along, and I'm going to go with Evan and Becky. If those are not actually their names, I am very sorry. So gets stuck on the side of the road. He comes along and he's like, hey, how can I help you? She's obviously a little weary because, you know, small town in New Hampshire, stuck on the side of the road. Guy shows up in a pickup truck, you know. Can I help you kind of an idea. She's thinking axe murderer. But he ends up taking her back to his family's inn. And they kind of adopt her, if you will. Now, he falls for her almost immediately. Like, it was very, very much love at first sight for him. For her, not so much. She really, really avoided trying to get feelings for him because she has something that happened in her past that I'm not going to divulge because it wasn't given to the reader until a good more than half of the book had already gone through before you really found out what her loss was. And it's heartbreaking. It's really, there was a couple scenes in this book that towards the end really got me very emotional. Yeah, but this was just the most perfect fall book. It takes place in small town New Hampshire. It takes place in the beginning of the fall. They're gearing this inn up. There's a possibility that the family could lose the inn because of a loan that's due at the bank. You get like the evil character of this bank manager who's like trying to buy the inn out from under Evan and his family. It's his mother who's lived there, and it was his father passed away a year ago, and he's kind of running the show now. And the people who work there are kind of like a ragtag group of people that just kind of show up and end up getting adopted, for lack of a better term, by the inn. Like, there's a woman and her young son who are on the run from her very abusive ex. And then there's, of course, Becky, who's running from a situation, not from a physical thing, but from a mental thing. Like, she thinks if she stops, she's going to have to deal with and unpack all this grief, which is probably true. And she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want the grief to catch up with her, if you will, from what happened. So this isn't, based on the cover, this isn't the lightest and fluffiest of stories. There is something, like, there is real world stuff happening in the book. And I think that's what endeared it to me even more. That it wasn't just fluffy and cozy and what have you. It also is a little spicy, you guys. It's like, you know, maybe a two spice pepper. So you do get some open door love scenes in this book. A couple of them, I think. Very tasteful, very well done. I like them, you know, but just letting you guys know, because I know we talk about this a lot here on the channel, that based on these cartoony type covers, they don't necessarily mean sweet romance. And yeah, so again, I enjoyed this one so much. Available on Kindle Unlimited, like I said, and I think there's going to be 6 books in total. The 6th book hasn't come out yet. And you've already met some of the characters that you're going to meet in the books to come. Okay, now, you guys know, I'm not a series binger. I don't, you know, want to read one book after another in a series generally. But I wanted to start book 2 as soon as I was done this one. And I'm like, no, I'm going to wait. And I think I'm going to read it in October. Because I believe it's a Christmas book, but I'm not, you can't tell that from the cover, but I think it is. And it's about an epic road trip, which the end of this book leads into that book. So yeah, very excited about that. I love this one, you guys. If you're a fan of romance and you want a perfect fall, cozy, pumpkin spice latte, sweater weather kind of a romance, you got to try this one. You will not be disappointed. And the last book that I finished was The Hidden Staircase by Carolyn Keene, which is the 2nd book in the Nancy Drew Mystery Stories series. I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. I mean, the more I'm reading these, I'm finding that Nancy isn't necessarily a great detective. She just gets really lucky. Like, there's a scene in this that she's like, finds the secret passage. And then while she's in the secret passage, she just so happens to find this note that's written there on the ground. Like, that's like this piece of paper. Like, oh my gosh. No one else found it until you found it, kind of an idea. A lot of legalese in these books as well. Like, I jokingly always state that the first book is a probate law story. But this one has to do with the buying and selling of a property. And, you know, it's a thing. Anyway, so there's usually also more than one kind of plot line running throughout these books as well, even though they're not that long. So in this one, Nancy's father, Carson Drew, is, he's kind of fighting this railroad company for land rights. Again, very legalese. But Nancy has been called upon by her friend Helen to come with her to her great aunt's and great grandmother's home because they're experiencing a ghost. And so Nancy is investigating, finding out about this ghost. Of course, it turns out it's somebody trying to run the old ladies out of the house. I'm not giving away too much. I mean, the thing is with these ones, like if the first book was called The Secret of the Old Clock, the secret ended up being in the old clock. They kind of give it away with the title. The Hidden Staircase. There's a hidden staircase that Nancy doesn't find out till the last 2 chapters, but it's in the title. So I'm not giving away a whole ton for this one. But yeah, I mean, these are fun. These are delightful. These are not my favorite, to be completely honest. I prefer the Case Files series, which are the ones that came out in the 80s, because they're the ones that I grew up with. And I find them to be a little bit more edge-of-your-seat mystery, if that makes any kind of sense. Like, they were written in the 80s. They involve romance, and they involve car chases, and stuff blowing up. And, this is not what you got from these Nancy Drew stories. These were very, very tame. They did have great pictures in them, though, so I'm not complaining about that at all. And I do love these editions that I found at the thrift store. So, yeah, again, I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're good. They're fun books. But if I had to pick one series to another, the Case File series is definitely the way that I would go, just because that feels more Nancy Drew to me. That's the Nancy Drew that I know, whereas there's a whole other generation that this is the Nancy they know. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, glad I got that one done. So that's it. That's what I read this week, you guys. So what am I currently reading? Speaking of fall-flavored books, I am currently reading Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair, the first book in the Sweater Weather series. There is one of these that are coming out every single week. They are all available on Kindle Unlimited. Some of them may be available, on audio, but not all of them. So this one is not. So I am reading it on my Oasis. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying this one. It's about our main character named Parker, who is a media coordinator for a small town. What would you call it? Like down from the majors, like not an NHL team, but like a couple steps down. And she does videos on TikTok and YouTube of the guys. And, that's kind of what gets them this big following. And Logan, who was her brother's best friend growing up, he was in the NHL. And then he beat somebody up, like a fan up in a restaurant. Shouldn't do that. And he got sent down to the minors. So he is now playing for this team. And Parker always had a thing for him, but they haven't seen each other in like 10 years, not since she was 15 and she's now 25. And him and his best friend, Parker's older brother, have not talked to each other, like Logan and Brandon. Brandon's the brother. And it goes back and forth in narration. So Logan will narrate a chapter or two, and then Parker will. So, yeah. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 20% of the way through it, I think, at this point. Where am I? I have not had a lot of reading time over the last couple days. Garrett and I have been out and about doing lots of things. So yeah, almost 20%. I'm on chapter 5. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting a lot more of that read today. I'd like to finish it maybe tomorrow, like before I go back to work on Tuesday. And then the other book that I'm currently reading, another book that I would like to finish before I go back to work on Tuesday. Let me just get the cover up here, please. Hold, please. I am currently reading also a Kindle Unlimited book, Deserts, Driving, and Derelicts by Tanya Kappas. I'm also on chapter 5 of this book, 23% of the way through it. It's a much shorter book in terms of page count. So there's the cover. It's the second book in the Campers and Criminals Cozy Mystery series. This is also available on audio. I do have it out from Hoopla, but when I'm just sitting around, I'm actually physically reading it. There are reading sprints this afternoon, I think, over on Tiffany's channel, The Beach Bum Bookworm. So if I participate, I will probably be listening to a bit of this on audio. I go back and forth. But yeah, so I'm reading this one. I'm enjoying it. I'm only 5 chapters in. It's a cozy mystery series, and it's absolutely delightful. And last but not least, I do have a throwback book on the go, and that is The Truth About Stacy by Anna Martin. Book number 3 in the Babysitter's Club series. So I'm about 3 chapters into this one. I try to read about 3 chapters a night, and I'm going to do that for all of the throwback books and just read one after another to get through them. Not that I'm like forcing myself to get through them, but These are really easy to read at night just before you go to bed. So, because there's not, let's be real, there's not a lot of thought. These are just really fun. So yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading. And last but not least, what do I have coming up on the channel this week? So I did mention at the beginning that I will be continuing to do the daily vlogs. So stay tuned for those. I hope that you guys have been enjoying them. And then because I'm doing the daily vlogs, I have cut myself down to like 2 videos a week, 2 other videos a week. So on Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing kind of a wrap up final thoughts on Garb August, my thoughts on Garb August, what I'm going to change next year, what I might do differently, because I just felt like I didn't read as much, but there was kind of a lot going on in August for me. I'm changing jobs. There was that whole thing going on, you know, wrapping up at the job I'm currently at, stuff like that. So I didn't get to fully immerse myself in Garb August as much as I wanted to, but I will talk about all those things tomorrow. And then on sorry, got a little pop-up here on my laptop. On Wednesday, on the 6th, I am going to be doing live reading sprints at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so do join us for that. And then on the 8th, on Friday, I will be doing an ebook haul for the month of August. So all of the ebooks that I've picked up in the month of August, I'll be kind of doing a little book haul for that. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, you guys, that is all that I have for today. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, a little bit shorter than normal, but I think that's kind of nice. You know, I do a lot of talking throughout the week of what's going on, so I'm not going to rehash all that here. But anyway, I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye.